Ah, the Bohrok, celebrated everywhere for their excellence. These amazing round boys, they're some of the greatest Bionicle sets that they ever released. You know, with their cool Krana that can infect Toa, with their outstanding array of play features, there's so much to love. But can the Bohrok be built better? Well, in today's video, let's ponder that question as we take a look at 6 revamps of each of the original Bohrok sets. These community mocks are incredibly impressive. Let's check them out. First off, we have an amazing revamp of Tarok by Joxon. I really like the position change for where the Krana is located. On the original set, you can see that it's resting at kind of like a lower angle, and sometimes parts of it get a little bit obscured by the translucent windscreen with that little bit of red marbling over it. But here, it's not obscured whatsoever. It's much more visible, which I think is just pleasant. You know, this is the thing that controls the Bohrok. It's essentially their brain. I like that it's being really shown off, that it's super visible. And in a way, making it more obvious somehow makes it even more creepy. Speaking of which, this new mouth and the eye area, giving Tarok 4 eyes and a large, huge, creepy amount of teeth. This is certainly an advancement on the 2 little tusks that the original set had, and the more modest eyes. But it's dope. I've always thought that the clear domes on their heads and the kind of rough shape of their face, it feels like a callback to the xenomorphs from Alien. So these changes just seem perfect. Lots of eyes, lots of teeth, it's perfectly in the vein of horror, just like xenomorphs. Anything you can do to make the Bohrok creepier? That's a plus in my books. Also, one interesting thing to note is how the body and the head use these red wedge pieces. Recently, some of them came in this Spider-Man bust set. As long as you don't put the stickers on them, you could use them in a similar way on your own mocks. And there's something about pieces like this, the shape of them, the texture. It pairs perfectly with CCBS armor. There's a lot of great system pieces out there that look so good with Bionicle parts. And they're the kind of pieces that can create some really wonderful shapes and very original organic forms. Maybe you could try and use some of these pieces in your next creation. My friend Gringat is up next, and here they have a revamp of Levar. Look at all of the additions of black armor, and even like a tiny antenna on the back. It almost looks like they're a Special Forces Bohrok, ready for combat, a SWAT Bohrok, an army man, you know, that kind of stuff. And I think that idea is what makes me love this revamp. It's what makes it so exciting. You know, seeing people push the boundaries on the concept of what a Bohrok can be. What would they look like if they had more armor? What if the eye design was altered so that they have 4 eyes? What if they had 4 fangs as well? This is just so much fun. I'm a big fan of the upgraded hand weapons as well. It's a good idea to use some of Kuroda's lime blade pieces for the hand weapon. The energy and the shape of this, it does feel very similar to the shape and feel of the Bohrok's original hand weapons, which are all very round and circular. Now sure, this is a different shape to Levar's original weapon, but change is nice. Nothing wrong with making it look a little bit more fancy. I really like the direction of this revamp. Great work. Bonkarella's up next, and this is their revamp of Tarok. So yeah, okay, this is a revamp of one of the Bohrok queens. Normally they look like this. That's a clever idea, making them look a lot more like an actual Bohrok than something totally different. I like that direction. But for this video, we're gonna pretend that this is a revamp of Garlock, because this still kinda passes as one. And there's a lot we could learn here that would give us inspiration for a revamp of that set. Now, I'm a big fan of these large spike pieces coming out of the head. In blue, these pieces originally came on the Batman Ultra Build set. And yeah, finding some way of upgrading the head, or just expanding on the head design, that's awesome. The energy of these 2 spikes flaring backwards like that, it's so dynamic. It's also so cool to see fingers and larger weapons on their hands. I quite like Onawa G2's big shovel weapons, or his shoulder pads, or the weapons that appear on his hammer, they were used in a lot of different ways on that set. But integrating them onto a Bohrok? That's pretty dope. This is some lovely work. Mike Neves shows us how it's done with their revamp of Korak. Man, sizing up the original set and turning them into a hideous, huge monstrosity. It's beautiful. I never really thought of Bohrok as scary, but when they look like this, they certainly are. I love that this new face is giving Korak a lower jaw filled with spiky teeth. And then there's like barbs flowing out of the back of the head. Wonderful. Yeah, this is the second revamp we've seen now that introduces spikes coming out of the back of their faces. Who would have thought that would look so good so consistently? And then look at this. The eyes, instead of using eyepieces, they're blue flames stuck together. That's a bit different and a bit creepy. And check out this buzzsaw weapon. See how that's been translated into a larger scale? Good idea to use some of these white claw pieces. These are the same ones that came on the large, Titan-sized version of Takanuva. Placing them together in a big old circle, that looks really good. Oh, and also this mock seems incredibly posable despite its size. Always a pleasure to see highly posable mocks. Now over to Corn Builder, and this is their revamp of NVOK. Hey, you know what's great about this? It looks sensational in its traditional form, but it also can roll up into a ball. Fantastic. It's always so delightful when that's actually possible. It's not always the easiest thing to do on a Bohrok mock. You're making lots of modifications to every part of their body. It can limit its ability to transform, but I'm so glad that this one actually can. Now here's a side-by-side with the original set and this mock. I'm very impressed with how Corn Builder has beefed up the hand weapon. It literally is just a scaled up version of this piece. That's super creative. It's always fun to see little scaled up versions of pieces like this. And now I mentioned the Bohrok's resemblance to the xenomorph from the movie Alien. And yeah, this head that's a lot more elongated, the fact that you can see inside, it looks pretty similar. I don't know if that was the builder's inspiration, but maybe it could be your inspiration on your version of a Bohrok. And hey, it's good to see a custom Bohrok Var as well. A cute little companion to go with the Bohrok. You know, Joxon did that on his mock as well. It's always a bit of a treat seeing the two of them chilling together. What a nice little pair. And then let's finish off with Bionic Forge's revamp of Parak. I always enjoy looking at revamps that take the same basic look and concept, but find all sorts of ways to add in way more detail to each section. You know, like the face, for example. The brown dino tail that forms kind of like a nice eyebrow over the eye. That's a nice touch. Even things like the eyes. It's got the basic shape of the original, but instead of being one piece, it's made up of 4 separate eyes. Yeah, this kind of makes Parak feel a little bit more bug-like. I love seeing Bohrok mocks that do look a little bit more like an insect or a bug or a creepy crawly. The aesthetic fits them quite well. What a fun and beautifully detailed mock. And you know, I think all of these Bohrok in today's video were truly amazing. Each builder did a fantastic job of breathing new life into each character. So if you want to see even more from each of these builders that I showcased today, then check out the links below. You can find their social media right there. Go and check them out. But that's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching, happy building, and bye for now.